Good evening, everybody. And we want to thank you so much for coming back to join us tonight. If you were on yesterday, you know that we ran into major technical difficulties.
Yes, I had to reload my whole operating system.
Yeah. And then we tried to put it up on another
on your laptop, and it didn't work.
Yeah,
so let's ask, can you hear us clearly? Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome, you guys. That's just awesome. Well, here we are, Catherine and Eileen. Together, we're the two blondes with passion, and we are the profitable salon owner. And our motto is to get salon owners profitable.
Fast.
How fast?
Very fast.
Yes. And let's get started. Tonight we've got an amazing topic for you, and it's on longevity. So really, this is talking about...
There we are.
Ta-da! Look at, we're standing right outside the window right here, just over there. And of course it was a kind of a weird day. Anyways, checklist for longevity. Are you in it for the long haul?
So maybe let us know. I'm Lewis, anybody that's on here, how long have you been in business already? So just it pops up on our screen. We're able to
so we can see what you're doing.
See.
Yeah, let us know, how long have you guys been in business? And because that gives us a bit of an idea. Less than a year. Anybody been in for over 10 years, 5 years, 20 years? We
open October the 3rd. Hey, listen. And Gwen, 32 years. Good for you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And, to think that, you've been in business for 32 years, you have to really think about that, because it is honestly being true to yourself every single day.
Absolutely. I have owned my own businesses since I was 27 years old. I will be 63 this year.
So you're giving away the farm, are you?
I don't care. Age is just a number. But seriously, I mean, it's been a long time. And I've learned a lot of things along the way. And Eileen has had her own businesses and worked for
big businesses
for a very long time. So we really just want to help pass along some of our experience. And trust me, we have a lot of experience sitting here.
One of the things that Kath and I were talking about before we got online tonight was that when you own your own business and you're getting started, you have to really think about the end results that you want. Because often, we get so excited about starting the business. Oh, this beautiful new salon, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to have this station, we're going to have that station, right? It gets so exciting. But we often forget, well, what is it that you really want to do? Like, where are you going to be? How long are you going to own this business?
So that's our next slide. So
start
with the end in mind. And truly, I've owned a few businesses over the course of my tenure in business. And I think my first couple of businesses, I just bought it with no clear understanding of where I was going to go or what I was going to do. I just knew I wanted to own my own business. And so, were they as successful as they could have been? I think they were okay. I think I could have taken those and done a lot more with them had I had a plan. The business that I have a current business that I work in every day. Plus, I have another business, which is a really big business, and it's not even in the same city. But I started that business, and I had an end goal in mind.
And so what Kath's talking about is exit strategy. That means that when we think about it, we think, okay, I'm this age and really I don't want to be doing this after I'm such and such an age. So we have to really think, okay, so how am I going to get out of it when I get to that age? So it's just as important to plan with the end in mind and have an exit strategy. One of the biggest things that you and I have run into over the years is the sadness and of the demise of our salons and spas, because the salon owners haven't taken into consideration what they're going to do with their business when they're ready to say goodbye. And so what happens is more often than not, the doors just close. And we think, wow, you know, like that could have been your retirement. And I honestly think, Kath, that we probably need to do a webinar on exit strategies all by itself.
Well, exit strategy,
huge.
Exit strategy is huge. And that's what I did in my business in the different city, is I created an exit strategy. And
that's why you're here.
That's why I am
business
here.
Is there.
Yeah. And now I've opened another business here. But again, I have an exit strategy in place.
Exactly.
So, you know, I'm 63 years old. I don't want to work forever. But, you know,
you will.
Yeah, probably. But there is an exit strategy in place for that business. And I think that's really important for all of us. I don't care if you are 25 or 55, you need to know how you're going to get out of this business. So, you know, I thought it was interesting. And I mean, I did some research on this, and because you hear all kinds of numbers bandied around about businesses when they start. And this is really interesting for the people that have been in business a very short time. Lewis, you're opening October 3rd. 65% of small businesses will survive for around 2 years.
And that's one of the things that we often hear. If I can make it for the first 2 years, I should be okay. And, you know, a lot of that is true. But I do want to share something personal with you, is because one of the big retail businesses that I owned years ago, at 5 years, we went belly up. 5 years we went belly up. If only I had known then what I know now, life would have been a lot different. And so the fact that you're actually on this webinar listening to us shows me that you are in it with the end, you know, with longevity in mind, because you're looking for ways. How do I make my business better? And I got to tell you, working on your own business and being involved with your own thing, it's like training for an Olympic event.
It is.
Everything that you do goes into that business. It's completely different than having a job.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you have a job, you put in your 8 hours, you go home, and you forget about it.
What does having a job mean?
Just over broke. Certainly in our industry, right?
Yeah.
And that's why so many of us strive to have our own businesses, whether it's a chair rent or a salon ownership. We want to be in charge of our own destiny. And that's why no matter how small you are, whether you're the only person or whether you've got 40 employees, we want you to think about the end in mind and how you're going to stay in business.
And so I'm sure, and we know some, like Gwen, have been in business for many, many, many years. But Gwen, my question to you is, how are you going to get out?
Exactly. After 32 years, how are you going to get out? It's a really big question.
So looking at it, at 5 years, 50% will still be in business. But by year 10, only 30% of businesses are still going to be in business. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody has bailed because they're failing. I mean, some people may start their business and have a 5-year plan. For sure. Or some people, all of a sudden your whole life changes and you think, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I mean, all sorts of things happen. It's not just business failure that moves us away. It's the other thing is that sometimes owning a business is just a struggle. You know, like it is a day-to-day thing that you have to take care of. It's like having a child. It is. And so sometimes people want to let go of that responsibility. Yeah. Right? For sure. So how do you make it all go? But it's exciting. It is exciting. Well, you and I love it. I know. But guess what? I've always been excited by my business. But again, plans. I think it should be Stan. No, you need a plan. You need a plan, Sam. I was trying to be generic. Sam could be a woman or a man. That's very true. Well, I was thinking poetry. So you need a plan, Sam. Okay. Do you have a business plan? Lewis, do you have a business plan? Do you have any kind of plan? Is it written down? Because again, and cocktail napkins don't count. Well, you know, some great businesses, they get started on a cocktail napkin because you and I have done that. Richard Branson says that is the best. Sorry, Lewis, did you answer me? Because it flashed across the screen and Eileen and I were too busy talking.
Yes.
So Richard Branson said some of his best ideas have been formulated
yes, good.
on a cocktail napkin.
Yes, but I want you to take that cocktail napkin and then put it on a real piece of paper into, and on a PDF.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a 15-page document.
Heavens.
Gwen said, I don't know at this time. I just closed my salon in January.
Good woman.
So, it doesn't have to be a 15-page missive, which some people think it does. And when you go online, sometimes it looks like that's what it has to be. But whatever, if it is written out and you have a plan going forward, and to go to the bank to get any kind of money,
you have to have a plan.
You will have to have a business plan.
And it's almost like defending a thesis in a PhD degree. You put together this plan and you give it to the bank, you asking them for money, and then they drill you on everything that they want to know. So you have to be able to defend what it is that you're going to do. You want to know intimately every single detail of what you're going to do.
And
it is so important.
Yeah, and
the more planning that they have, the more effective and the smoother your operation is going to go.
But I will tell you, it doesn't matter. Like, I have had my one business, and we are a multi-million-dollar business, and we are a successful business. If I go to the bank, I could go to the bank and ask for $25,000, and they're going to ask me, what's your business plan? Yeah. And I look at them and I go, really?
You're asking me?
You want a business plan for $25,000 when I'm a multi-million-dollar business and I've been in business for like going on 25 years? Are you kidding me? And that's just what they need.
Exactly.
So don't be offended.
That's just the way it goes. Everybody wants to be secure, right? One of the things, and the other thing about a plan that, of course, you and I really love is the fact that it determines our systems that we're going to use within the business. And as Kath and I often say, what's the one thing you never see at McDonald's?
The owner.
That's right. And you know why? It's because they have systems in place. They don't have to be there. Anybody who walks into their business can open up the book and figure out how to run that business, whether they're standing at the till, flipping hamburgers, whatever it is, cleaning the washer. Everything is a system. And that's one of the things that business plan helps you do. It helps you figure out exactly the steps you need to have a successful business.
That was very good. Have to have.
That was too many have-tos, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a bit too many have-tos.
I'll have to cut a have-to.
Yeah. Maybe that was what you're drinking.
Oh, yes. It would be rude to drink my Prosecco in front of you, wouldn't it?
Well, we did say we had coffee yesterday morning. We had to move on to something stronger.
Exactly. So listen, you need a plan, Sam, and you need it whether you're a salon owner, a chair renter, if you're home-based or you're mobile, no matter what kind of business it is, no matter how small or no matter how big, make a plan.
I don't care if it's 1 page or 20 pages.
Exactly.
Write something down.
And figure out exactly what it is your business is. Now, I love this last note, Catherine, who is your ideal client? Because if you think about it, your ideal client will help you put your business plan together. It's a clue.
Yeah, you need to figure that out. And if you say to me, if I ask you who is your ideal client and you say to me, well, everyone.
We're coming over there.
Yeah, we're coming over there. We're going to beat you. So,
well, I wouldn't go that far, but perhaps a very stiff reprimand.
Oh, no, I would. Boom, 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 boom. They call me the Velvet Hammer.
She's brutal, folks. Brutal.
They call me the Velvet Hammer because I tend to say things bluntly, but coated in velvet.
Yeah, exactly. No, we do not want to hear that everybody is your client because you love everybody. And please don't tell us that you're opening up a business because you love people either. There's just so many more reasons.
You're
right?
opening up a business, or you have a business because you want to make money.
Well, I think it's more about developing a lifestyle. And
well, that's good. But money helps you develop your lifestyle.
It does. It's just part of it, though. But I honestly believe that in this industry, very rarely do we run into somebody who says, I'm just doing it for the money.
Oh, no, you're never just doing it for the money.
There's so much more involved in it. There's the creativity. There's that whole sense of being of service. And of course, reaching out and touching, building teams,
But how many people, Eileen, do we know that own a business and it really isn't a business, it's a hobby?
Well, that's true. Oh, quite a few.
Yes, there's a
Sad
lot.
to say.
So
Sad to say.
do not be a hobby business
Yes.
owner. Be in it for the right
Be
reasons.
in it to win it. So I really want you to think carefully. Who is your ideal client? Right? And I think we should come back to that a little later.
Yeah. So 82% of businesses fail because of cash flow problems.
Very true.
And Eileen, why did your business fail?
Well, Kath, it was a really sad thing. We ran out of money.
Exactly. So you,
The tap stopped.
yeah, the tap does not drip money.
No. And I think one of the big mistakes that we really made too is that operating on our own, like I really believe that you do what you do best and hire for the rest.
Yes.
Now I'm a great salesperson. That's really my forte. I'm a really good salesperson. I'm a great team manager. I know how to motivate and move people. That's my strengths. I am not the best cash flow person. I needed to hire somebody to manage my cash flow for me. And I'm not ashamed or afraid to tell you that was the big mistake I made, because if I can help you through that, then how great is that? Then we all learn from my mistake, right? And cash flow is deadly. The biggest things in our business that we have to watch out for is our retail and back bar, because often we find I was thinking of the other day, a friend dropped off some products because she was leaving town, and it was brutal.
It was
hundreds
mind-boggling to
of
me
dollars.
how much this one chair salon had in product.
In back bar product.
And I went, there is the reason that she could not make money.
That and the salon is closing. And so we have to be very careful. There are definitely like formulas to follow. There's all sorts of plans that you can figure out for cash flow, but it is the most important thing that you do. So assemble your dream team. Really think about it. You need an accountant or a bookkeeper.
Yeah, I have, in all my years of being in business, I have never done the books myself. I understand my numbers. I can read a cash flow sheet. I can do cash flow projections.
You can read the profit and loss.
I am like Eileen. I am a people person. I'm the manager. I'm the hairdresser. I'm the business.
We're the visionaries.
Yeah,
we can figure out the dream.
But do not ask me to sit down and do the books. So I think for the amount of money, I don't care if you are a one-person operation. If that's not what you love to do, find someone that can do it and help you with it.
And let's remember that, it tends to be a percentage of what it is that you're doing. So for example, if you're a one station salon, your costs for having a bookkeeper and accountant are going to be pretty minimal. And once it gets bigger, yes, the price will get bigger, but it's really important, because if it can save your business, then isn't it worth it?
Yeah.
I think
and
so.
some of the smartest business people I know, or people that are looking to go into business, or even myself, when my business, I recognized that I was in trouble, I hired a business consultant.
Yes.
It did save my marriage.
Yeah.
Totally saved my marriage.
Absolutely. Her husband said to her one day, he says, look, it's the business or me.
He said, well, we're going to go bankrupt. And I said, no, we're not. And so I looked around. I hired a business consultant. So you must be willing to do whatever it takes.
Right. Remember, do what you do best and hire for the rest.
So we're trying to impart some really good wisdom to you. Start off the way you mean to go forward.
Exactly. Because if you can keep your cash flow going, that means you're going to be in it for the long haul. Remember, we're talking about longevity here, and cash flow is important. There's all sorts of formulas out there, and just, ask somebody.
Yeah. But assemble your dream team.
Yes.
That, I think, is one of the big, yes, you must do this in order to move forward. don't care how long you've been in business. If you're in business and you're not where you want to be, then you need to be starting to look at ways that you can grow forward.
Yeah, grow. I like that, Kath. Grow forward.
Grow forward.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense to everybody? I hope everybody has their dream team, because I think you all need it. Absolutely.
In fact, we hope that we're actually part of your dream team, because the fact that you're on the Profitable Salon Owner means that you are looking for occasional advice or wisdom or whatever. And Kath and I are happy to share our mistakes, because we feel that they help everybody get better at what they do.
So this next one, I really do have something very profound to say about this.
Go
find a mentor. And I have had some brilliant mentors over the years. But when I say find a mentor, I mean find somebody who is successful. Doesn't matter if they're in our field or in another business, but you must find somebody that has been successful in their business. There are a lot of people out there. There are a lot of business consultants out there who are not successful in their business.
So look around and find somebody. Find a salon in your town or in the next town or whatever, and they're running a really successful business. Find someone that you think is looking really good, and ask to interview them. Find out, and people, strangely enough, are really happy to share their success.
Absolutely.
I think that our industry, we're all willing to reach out and help. So find someone, go and ask them, say, tell me, what is it that you did that really made you successful? And what kind of advice could you pass on to me? Yeah. You might be surprised to find out that they, here's this really successful salon owner, and they're willing to mentor you.
When my business was running into trouble, I was looking and I was reading everything I could, and I picked up Modern Salon one day, and I read an article about two twin sisters in Fargo, North Dakota. And my business was in Canada, but just north of Fargo, North Dakota. It was about a three hour drive.
Was it far to go?
3 hours. Fargo.
Sorry.
So it was about a 3 hour drive. I picked up, I didn't even, in those days, there was no Google, or it was just like really in its infancy. And so I found out the name of their salon. I picked up the phone. I phoned, to find out where their business. I did all the digging that I could. I phoned, and out of the blue, introduced myself and said, I'm wondering if I could come down and meet with you. Mm-hmm. And I went down to meet with these two sisters. Now, Fargo's not a very big town. It's maybe 200,000 people. So I'm thinking I'm going down to, a small business. They had 2 salons, but I'm thinking 2 small salons. I drove down there with 2 of my management team. And we arrived there, and I'm looking at this building, and I think, good God, they had 2 businesses in Fargo, 10,000 square feet each. And they took time out of their day. They toured us around both of their businesses. We went for lunch. My managers went out and did whatever they were doing, but they took me out for lunch. And we talked. That's how I ended up finding the business consultants that ended up helping me get my business on track.
And, that's a great story. And I also want to tell you that when Catherine and I started the Profitable Salon Owner, we actually went out to find a business mentor as well for the 2 of us. And we ended up having the most fabulous year working with this mentor and a group of a mastermind group. And we learned so much because the Profitable Salon Owner, we have all sorts of information about the salon industry, and we certainly have a lot of experience. But we were actually developing really an online business, which takes you in a completely different way, right? So like we said, do what you do best and hire for the rest. So we hired someone to train us to be able to move this forward. And 5 years later, here we are in front of you, still going strong. Boy, how old are you again? No. Okay, so the next one is work out a budget and stick to it. This has got to be, along with your cash flow, the most important thing you can do. You need to know how much money you're going to spend and where it's going to be. And there are guidelines out there. And this one you can just Google yourself too. Figure, get a salon budget and find out what the sort of the general industry is spending.
Actually, if you would like to send us an email, our email will be at the end of this. I can actually forward you the template that I have used for all these years.
Yes, because it helps you with the, your industry averages. And yours will probably vary a little bit, but at least will give you an idea so that you'll know that if you're spending 90% on rent, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Things like that, Okay, so the budget is extremely important.
Yeah, and you need to follow it religiously.
This next one, Catherine, understanding pricing and the impact on your business.
Yeah.
Again, I think I could go on ad nauseum about pricing, because one of the things that we have found over the years is that when it comes to pricing, salon owners put a big dartboard up and throw darts at it and think, hey, I think that sounds like a good price for a haircut or a color. Or
the dreaded phone.
The dreaded phone. Hi, how much do you charge for a haircut?
And really, that's nothing to do with it. We have a whole webinar that we did on pricing, and we'd be happy to do it again because I think people have different questions. But pricing is critical. You must understand your pricing. Just because the salon down the street charges $25 for a haircut or $75 for a facial does not mean that that's what you need to charge. It means what you need to do is you need to understand what your overhead is, and then your pricing comes from that.
And exactly. And you need to know how much your expenses are. So it's all about percentages, but you must understand it. And again, we actually have a template on this too, that maybe we could share if anybody wants it, because understanding your pricing is.
Yeah. And the one thing,
Lewis, maybe that will really help you when you're ready to get your pricing in line.
And the one thing that I didn't put on here, and I just realized that I didn't put on here, you cannot pay 60% commission and expect to ever be profitable.
No, let me throw out a general rule of thumb. Of course, this is going to vary, but as a general rule of thumb, that for every never.
For every dollar that you spend, you need to bring in
$3. Thank you. I was going to reverse it in my head. I thought, no, that's wrong. Thanks for keeping me straight.
That's okay. That's what we're here for. That's why there's two of us.
So remember that. So for every dollar that you spend in expenses, you need to bring in $3 of revenue. Okay? So that's a really important general rule of thumb. Keep that in the back of your mind.
Does that make sense?
Hopefully.
Yeah. So if you're going to spend $100 on a nice purse and you're thinking the business can afford it, just think, well, I have to make $300 in order to be able to afford that.
Exactly.
That's how I
bought a purse.
No, that's how I think about everything that I do in the business.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to spend this much, so that means I have to bring in this much. How long is it going to take me to do that to give me a return on investment?
Exactly. Aha. Okay. This is part of your business plan. Marketing your business. It is going to be the biggest portion of your plan that you do.
Yeah.
And we've taken that little line there, who is your ideal client? And we've started with that.
Because that's where you have to start. You have to know.
Start at the very beginning.
Oh God, here she goes. I shouldn't have given her wine. Anyway.
Works on coffee too.
Does it? Yeah, I know. You'll just love to sing. But you have to know who your ideal client is. And yes, you may do everyone, but who is it that you really want to attract?
Does everybody sort of know what a bell curve is? It kind of looks like a bell, right? So when you're marketing, you work on a niche market, and this niche market is at the top of your bell, and you focus on this this target market. What happens is that all sorts of people fall off, and you end up with people of all ages and ethnicities or whatever, right? But your target market is at the top of this bell curve, and that's where you focus on. You cannot be all things to all people. So we have to find that niche that we want to create. So, for example, Catherine, explain who your target market is for Winnipeg.
So our target market in Winnipeg, we have a very large salon, and we have 3 distinct areas in the salon. We have a hair loss center, we have a large salon, and a large spa. So yeah, we can, market to everybody. In the hair salon, our ideal client is definitely business women.
Right.
So we go after business women, and we don't go after, say we're the greatest hair cutter. We talk about niche. So we're looking for business women, color clients.
Absolutely. We do love people who are chemically addicted to us. Ooh,
yes, we do.
I guess that's so wrong to say these days, isn't it?
It probably is, given what's going on with the overdose situation,
yes, really.
Especially up here. And then in our spa, again, we target business women interested in facials. We do the best facials in town. So that's where we focus. We do everything.
And the thing is that in focusing on these professional women, right, for example, what happens is the bulk of their business is professional women who can afford to be there. But their children come in, their grandmothers come in, their friends come in. So as I said, like, we end up with this filtering down from the bell curve, and we get all sorts of people. But we focused our marketing dollars on a specific niche.
The other thing that will tell you right off the hop is your hours.
Exactly. Yeah, very true.
Yeah, where you need to be open. Because if we're focusing on business women, there's no point in us being closed at 5 o'clock.
No, because most of them, that's when they're going to be coming in.
We're going to lose that market.
Exactly. And we know a couple businesses actually that open at 6:30 in the morning and do rocking business between 6:30 and 9 o'clock in the morning. All sorts of people coming in for, blow dry or whatever before they head to their meetings. And then we know salons that don't even open up until 1 o'clock because their clientele is all
in
business,
the evening.
and they go from 1 to 9 in the evening. So it helps define your hours. It really helps define who you are and who you're going to go after.
And then we touched on this a little bit. Define your niche.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be great at everything.
Exactly.
Well, maybe you are, but you would be rare. Define what it is. What do you love to do? Are you great at coloring? Are you great at curly hair? Fine and thinning hair is a big business these days. So define your niche. Like I said, in our spa, we go after facials. And it has been huge for us, not just in our service dollars, but it's in our retail dollars that we've really grown like crazy.
Guess why? Because they've taught all their staff how to present product to the clients. That's a whole other webinar.
Yes, it is. So again, define your niche. If you haven't thought about that, I don't care how long you've been in business. If you have not thought about that, then you need to what I say, drill down. So look at everybody, but then drill down and go, who is it that I love to work on? And where is my money?
Exactly. Where is it going to be coming from?
Yeah.
And then how are you going to spend it? How are you going to get them in the door? Because
the biggest thing is you can't keep yourself a secret.
No, because if you keep yourself a secret, guess what? You're a secret.
Yeah.
But here's there's two things that are incredibly important in today's business world, and it isn't just for the salon or spa industry either, but word of mouth, which means referrals, and social media and the internet. You've got two things here that are incredibly important. If you use them well, it's probably the best bang for your buck as well. So we really want you to make sure that you have referral programs in place, because that's, you get your clients telling two friends, and then they'll tell two friends, and they'll tell two friends. And referrals and word of mouth are the most powerful advertising that you can have in the service industry.
And really, social media is word of mouth.
Exactly. It's an extended version of that. And it's an opportunity for you to build a relationship with your clients when they're not in your business. Yeah. So it's extremely important. Facebook is big. Instagram is getting even bigger. I'm not as sure about Twitter because it's only 140 characters. There's no pictures there.
I'm not a big Twitter.
Yeah, but I think for the fashion industry, which we are part of, Facebook and Instagram, where you've got pictures, is really powerful. You can throw some money at it. I mean, Facebook, of course, has got all sorts of algorithms, but with a little research, you can figure it out. Yeah. There's all sorts of online courses that you can take, but you've got to do it. You've got to get out there and use that tool, because it's an amazing tool that's going to draw people to you.
And I will say, my business in Winnipeg, the multi-million-dollar business that we have grown, we've done every kind of marketing that you could believe. But one of my management team, who is now a co-owner there, part of my exit strategy, she has become so good she's learned how to market on social media, just how to put the ads up, and it's just repetition. Like you're repeating, but you're changing.
Exactly.
All in the same.
And again, it's systemized. There's a whole process that you use. It's phenomenal, and you will not be sorry that you do it.
And there's just, again, we have a whole webinar talking about how to get them in. Yeah. But and this is my big one, is great, get them in the door, but how are you going to keep them coming back?
Well, and in a way, part of it is through social media, because as I said, social media and the internet is a way to stay in contact with your clients and develop a relationship when they're not in your business, because that is one of the most important things that we can do.
Yeah, and
is develop a relationship.
But that is part of it.
I almost forgot to mention that 80% of consumers are finding businesses online. And one of the most important things you can do for your business, if you have a website, you must make sure that it is mobile friendly.
Oh, please. And you're all on Vagaro. It's just like it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
They make it easy for you.
Yes.
They really make it easy for you. But I am a big believer in follow-up. Because don't spend $1 trying to get somebody in the door if you don't have a system in place to follow up. You're wasting your money.
Speaking of throwing money away.
Yeah, when Aileen and I do we're physically in front of people, we have a roll of toilet paper that's printed with dollar bills, and we rip it off.
Yeah.
we rip it off and throw it away. Because truly, that's what you're doing. Louis, if I could say one thing to you, starting out a new business, you better have your follow-up in place now.
Exactly. What are you going to do after your client leaves?
Yeah.
And by that, again, we've done this whole webinar, but by that we just mean, is it thank you letters, re-invite letters, if you rebooked, so many things. And we've got quite a bit more to go here.
Yeah, even calling. So we can,
yes.
But networking. Get out there and get into your community. Networking is probably one of the strongest tools that you can utilize for not a lot of money.
Exactly. And, by that, I mean, if you use your feet, you can network for free. And one of the best ways to network in the business world is to go knock on your business neighbor's door, introduce yourself, and invite them to come and have a service with you. Invite them out for coffee and say, hey, I'm in the salon next door. I'd love to know more about your flower business or your antique business or whatever it is. Let's go for coffee and share. Invite them, get to know them, because guess what? They will become one of your biggest assets that you've got.
Totally. Don't stay in your business.
No.
Get outside.
Build your own business community.
Absolutely. I've been in business for all these years, and 3 ribbons, excellent. But Louis, do not stop there.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of us do. We get the buzz going, and then it's like, there. And we stop. No, keep going.
You never arrive.
Go to all the networking and participate.
Yeah, and going back to, I just had a thought too that I think is really important, because you're Vagaro followers. You know that you've got this incredible system to track your database. Every time you meet somebody new, put them in your database. Even if they're not clients, put them in your database. Because if you're doing the right thing and sending out newsletters, or for example, they'll end up getting your monthly newsletter or whatever. Right. So no matter who you meet, put them in your database. Collect their business cards, take it home, put it in your database. And thank God for Vagaro. They're amazing.
Yeah, they make it easy for
us.
Do. They truly do. And I don't care how big you are, even if you're a single person, you still have to do all these things. You want to stay in business for a long time, and you want to have business on your terms.
Yes.
Right?
Hello.
So, I mean, I think that's really important. All right. So there is nothing permanent except change.
Changing.
Change is the one constant.
Change is inevitable.
Change is the one constant.
Kind of like taxes.
Yeah. In my business in Winnipeg, every Christmas party, we used to start the Christmas party with a slideshow, and that was our song. We are family. 2 songs. We are family and changes.
Yeah.
Because every year it changed.
Right. So I think this is a really, really good line here. Stay flexible in your mindset, because years ago, somebody said to me, oh, people don't change. Well, you know what? I call bullshit on that. I think people change and grow and develop all the time, but we do have to be open to it. We do have to be flexible in our mindset. We do have to be open to new ideas. We have to listen. We have to stop trying to push our stories out onto everybody, and be open and listen to receive other people's ideas. So be flexible in your mindset.
And I can't tell you how many times, I have decided to do something, I made a business decision and started following it. And I realized that this wasn't working out the way I had thought it was going to work out. If you are so rigid that you are not willing to change course midstream, that's where we see failures. Yeah. If you stay flexible and you can change course and do it well, then those are the people we see in business 30, 40 years and having an exit strategy. I started off really small. When I started my first business, it was a 3 little chair, little salon. And, I always had this vision in my mind of what I wanted. I built it.
And they came.
And I built it. I then understood that I needed an exit strategy. I played that out. And, now I'm back to a smaller business, but I'm in the middle of actually expanding that.
So, be flexible. Really think about that. The next one is stay in tune with current trends. In our beauty industry, we're part of the fashion world. It is extremely important that we stay current on what's going on. Yeah. Because that is also going to be part of your marketing. Being able to show what's going on. It means being educated. I really believe that our industry does more extracurricular training than any other profession.
And I'm also, when I say stay in tune with current trends, I'm talking about business trends as well. Not just fashion trends, but I'm talking about what is going on in the business world. I was really quick to jump on. I understood that we needed to look at something different. And so we changed part of our business into a hair loss center, because so many of our clients were going through cancer, and we were sending them out to another space that wasn't looking after them well enough. And so, that was But you have to look and see what's coming up. You have to read.
Well, not just that, but it's other things like, being aware of changes in interest rates at the bank,
Yeah, and
being aware of what's happening with your POS system. I mean, there's
yeah,
all these sorts of things. Stay tuned with current
yeah,
trends. When POS systems came in place, with cards, etc. I remember calling on salons, and they were still accepting checks, and they were so resistant to moving into this new system that was going to make life so much easier. It was bizarre. So please be open, stay in tune with what's going on with the business side as well.
yeah. I think that's a really important thing. Yeah. And as I said, always be willing to change course, even midstream.
Yeah.
We all can make a mistake.
Yes.
We all.
Yes.
And I've done it many times. I would not still be in business if I had stayed true to my rigid plan.
And I'm so grateful for the mistakes that I've made, because
that's how we
about
learn.
changing, it's just been an
incredible
learning experience. So we just hope that we can share and maybe save you some of the pain. You'll make different mistakes and share those with someone. Yeah. So always be willing to ask for help.
Yeah.
Always.
If I hadn't reached out and asked for help all those years ago, I would not be sitting here, because I would not be in the industry any longer.
Exactly.
And I had to be humble and admit, my mistakes, and say, I am willing to do whatever it takes to make this better. And as I said, it just, we have to stay humble.
Exactly.
And always be willing to ask for help.
You got it. Well, Kath, I think we're coming to getting close. I think we've got a couple more slides here. This is extremely important.
I think this is the biggest, honestly, probably slide here.
Because when you are a business owner, you tend to be we often get into that mindset of, I'm the only one that can do this. And it is the fastest way to burn out. So we often wear too many hats. Great picture, by the way.
Yeah, we often, and I have done this, Eileen, I know you have done this
yes.
on more than one occasion. We try and be everything to everyone, and you cannot do that and be successful. The other thing that we tend to do, if we've been in business for a while, we tend to get complacent.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the worst thing that can happen, because that's when, things jump up and bite you in the butt. So, those two things, recognize burnout, but also at the same time, don't take anything for granted. Sort of be alert to what's going on in your business. So in lots of ways, again, no matter how big your business is, you are the CEO, the captain of your ship. And one of the biggest things that you can do is delegate. So if you are delegating responsibility to other people, the most important thing that you have to say in that is, so-and-so, could you please do this and report back to me? So you've got to, you put it out, but you've also got to get back the information and hold everybody accountable. You end up being everybody else's accountability partner. But what that does is it shares the burden, right? And it hopefully protects you from burnout.
And one of the things that I had become quite good at in my business, because I actually did at one point suffer from burnout, and I actually sold a business, walked away from a business. I sold it, but basically walked away because I was completely burned out. And what I learned from that is that I need to take time out for me, because in order for me to be the best that I can be and to help lead people, I need to spend time working on myself. And I call them mental health days. And
it's not just that. It's the whole package of lifestyle. We talked earlier at the beginning of this presentation that having your own business is often like training for an Olympic event. You need to take care of yourself. Your health is so important, which means that your nutrition, exercise, and your sleep habits are all extremely important in developing a very healthy business, because it's all part and parcel.
You must, and this is really hard for business owners, you must put yourself first.
Exactly.
Because if you do not put yourself first and look after yourself, then you will never, you will burn out. And I just did this with a young business owner who I have mentored over the years. And she came to me and we sat down and we talked, and she was done. She was burned out. And we had to sit down and
Figure it
out like how she was going to get out of this. I said, you cannot work 6 hours a day, 12 or 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. You are no good to anyone. So how are we going to get you out of this?
Exactly. So prioritize your health.
Please do that. That is a big message.
It will prevent burnout. Yeah. Yeah. Next, Catherine.
Next. Oh, yes. We're moving right along.
Aha. So I love this, the start and the finish. So again, what did your mother tell you? Start the way you mean to finish. I love September. It's always like the start of a new year.
Yes.
It's like that crisp new stationery. And every year I'd start out in school and my handwriting would be impeccable. And then after a week would go by, all of a sudden the underlining wouldn't be quite as straight. And then by the end of the year,
get a little sloppy.
You start scribbling in that scribbler. So I curse my mother sometimes, but start the way you need to finish.
Yeah.
And think of the finish that you have in mind, how you want to finish, and that's where you have to go. It's just like the roadmap of goal planning that we talk about. Think about that finish line and where you want to be.
And in researching for this webinar, I found this in Forbes magazine.
I love this quote. It's an awesome one, Catherine.
Repetition doesn't create memories. Great experiences do.
Exactly.
And honestly, that is what will make you a successful business owner. Create great experiences for your guests.
Exactly. Do that. You cannot fail.
And in saying that,
here, Catherine. It is the evening. Here we are. Cheers, darling. And if you have any questions or want any information, we are here to help. We're Two Blonde Sales. That's 2 S's in there at gmail.com. Now, we'd really like to thank Vagaro for their patience with us, Kat. You're so fantastic to work with. We just love it. Vagaro is such an amazing sponsor. We're so grateful to be related to them. I guess we're cousins in business.
We've been working with them for a long time.
And it's just so much fun. They are the most amazing resource. Can't say enough good things about them. And if you are thinking about Facebook, et cetera, you can get all sorts of templates from them as well. That will help you out.
Yes,
so
you
just
can.
A little hint there.
So Aileen and I are going to cheers to your success.
Here's to your success. And Lewis, best of luck.
Yes. And Gwen, after all these years, I hope you finish well.
Absolutely. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next month.
Hope you enjoyed this.
Thanks for being with us.